Happy New Year, Libra! And this is your January 2016 horoscope with me, Lada from astrolada.com. For anyone who has their ascendant, sun, or even moon in Libra, how does the year start for you, Libras? Well, there is a concentration of planets with a big focus in your 4th house and also in your 12th house. Jupiter is there with the North Node, and the Sun, Mercury, and Pluto in your 4th house, which are all private houses. They're houses of your personal life. These are houses of your emotions. These are these are areas of your life that are more hidden, more private. And often feelings come more to the surface. We become more emotional when those emotional houses are triggered for us. And especially Mercury will be going retrograde in your 4th house, which is the house of your roots, the house of family, of belonging, the house of inner happiness. So some of you will be revising, because when Mercury moves retrograde, it's about retrospection. It's about looking at matters from a different perspective, about things from the past, very likely, about certain things either from your childhood or that's happened to you before, that's became ingrained in your subconscious, and that motivate a lot of your actions, even unconsciously, that certain experiences that make you react in a certain way, even without you being aware of those. These will come more to the surface, and often it's accompanied by the person becoming more emotional, and because of that starting to rationally trying to figure out and to search, to dig deep to understand why their motivations are like that, why they react like that. So you Libras are becoming a bit more introspective, a bit more how do I say, looking for answers, because Mercury is a very logical planet, is the planet of our brain, of our rational thinking. So you try to find rational explanations for certain irrational actions, or for why you feel in some way. And it's a very good month, for example, for introspection, or even going to counseling, because both the 11th and 12th house are connected to digging out things from the past and resolving them and moving ahead. So that can be a theme for you. And on the more practical level, it can be about reconnecting to roots, because when planet moves backwards, it's about going back. And the 4th house is your family, your country of origin, your childhood, your past memories. So you might be reconnecting, maybe going to visit family, or having more important conversations with your family, paying attention to what's not working in the family dynamics in your life. And you might be having some important conversations, because Mercury is communications, verbal, or spoken, or Skype, or whatever, depends how close your family is. That can, sometimes if there are problems, they can escalate with your family and very close people in your personal life, but only so you can talk them through. The best way to solve those problems is by having a plan B, plan C, seeing the whole situation from a different perspective, because planet is moving backwards, you're getting a different way of things. So you can resolve such matters, and by mid-February, this whole process will finish, so you'll be able to have probably more strengthened communication with your family, and more deeper understanding about certain motivations of actions and about your feelings, or even reliving some pain and pain from the past, or looking at it from different eyes, remembering it consciously, which is Mercury, and because of that, being able to transform it and to change it in some way. This can be a very important period when you are making some arrangements, because Mercury is the planet of managing, arranging, efficiency, paying attention to detail in regards to property matters. For example, you might want to do some reconstructions around the home, and you're working on those things, or maybe you might be sorting out some papers connected to property, to family matters, and to anything such private, personal life things. But often in ancient astrology, when Mercury goes retrograde in the 4th house, it's known the house of the foundation of the horoscope. So you'll be doing some practical actions, some practical decisions you'll be taking through communication, conversations, papers, or whatever, arranging, managing, in order to create the most stable foundation in your life. And often, because fourth house is one of the houses which is strongly connected to having a sense of happiness, and to having a sense of happiness, we tend to have sense of happiness when we feel stable, when we feel a strong bonding and connection to something. And Mercury there will clear those things for you when it's retrograde. What exactly will bring you this foundation in life? What will make you more stable? Oftentimes when Mercury goes retrograde in the fourth house, I see people do things around the house, or to do with property, important conversation with the family, but also the desire for wealth comes there. Interestingly enough, it's just how I've seen it over and over, and often people start thinking about some plan, or start working on some, organizing something which will bring them fortune, long-term fortune. And often, quite a few times in horoscopes, I see it when Mercury is retrograde in someone's fourth house, that they start implementing those steps in regards to longer lasting fortune, very likely material, of a material sort. So, that's one focus there. And at the same time, Jupiter will help that from the 12th house. Jupiter is sending a good aspect to be able to resolve such problems, issues, and move forward ahead with them. And actually, 12th house is a hidden house, so some kind of unexpected support can come to you from areas that you did not even think were possible, or that you had forgotten about. And maybe someone might be saying a good word for you without being aware of it. Maybe someone might be, behind the scenes, come up and offer you something, because Jupiter is a benefic planet in the 12th house of hidden things and hidden resources, hidden talents, hidden support. This is how some of the things can appear and can happen for you in January. But it's definitely a month where you can heal a lot, psychologically, emotionally. But first, those wounds might be open, so they can be analyzed, understood, given clarity, and to move forward with. 12th house is also the house of long-term investments, where Jupiter and the North Node are together. So now can be a time where you're really thinking about investing in something long-term. And again, it ties in with the 4th house, Mercury retrograde, that thinks about fortune, building fortuitous foundation in one's life. And often this can be like buying property, or making a plan to have for the big luxury things in life that gives us a foundation that makes us feel stable. And one of those things is having property, or some stable financial situation. And the 12th house helps with Jupiter there to possibly to start either investing or contemplating in putting your energy and resources in something that will pay off in the long term only. And it might be registered now as an expense, because 12th house naturally rules expenses, but these are expenses that we put energy and efforts to, that are stored for us, that will give results later on. So it might feel like you have to pay more. For example, you might want to renovate the house, so you're investing and having extra expenses for that, or something else to build a foundation for your business, or something educational. But it feels like you're spending money, but at the same time you're investing long term in something which will give results, which will later on. Okay, so that's how some of the energies are working out. Watch out for being a bit more emotional when those planets are triggered. But your intuition is also very strong. Actually, now a lot of Libras can receive signs from the invisible worlds and from the higher dimensions, which is the 12th house, is the house of where, the thin wall between the two worlds. from even past people that have passed, from people, loved ones that have passed, or even support, invisible support from angels, guardian angels, from parents that have passed away. So prayers can be extremely powerful now in January for you Libras. People that have some spiritual practice, which is 12th house, can have extremely powerful experiences, almost even kind of a intuitive insights or higher state of consciousness, because Jupiter, the planet of higher knowledge overall and beneficial support and God's divine clarity, is joining with the North Node in your 12th house of the subconscious and the invisible worlds. And the North Node, whatever planet it joins with, it expands it. It makes it, magnifies it like a looking glass. So your intuitive perceptions will become very strong. You'll become almost like you might dream about something. You might have a sudden subconscious realization or a memory coming to the surface or a thought coming into your head, like you think, who put that thought there? Like, where did I capture it? You capture it from the astral somehow. And maybe it's put there from those invisible helpers in the 12th house, like our guardian angels, where Jupiter is there for you right now. So it's a very good month to go a bit more introspective, to pray, to meditate, to give peace in your mind. So the divine can speak through this 12th house and the 4th house. They're both connected to the astral, to the invisible world, those emotional houses. So the biggest support for you comes from this inner quiet voice and from invisible helpers. So if you have any such practices, they can be very, they can bring you some amazing insight. Okay, so what else is happening for you Libras? Venus will be in your 3rd house for most of January, which means that wherever Venus is there, we can have things more easily. They can happen with more smoothness. And 3rd house is social communication, so you might have some very pleasant conversations with people, go out for a few drinks, or go out to have heart-to-heart conversation with a friend, or with teammates, flatmates, even relatives of some sort, because 3rd house rules our siblings, and people that we have sibling-like relationships with. People in our team, some friends of ours. 3rd house naturally rules friendships as well. So this is where you receive comfort. This is where you receive maybe some support and some balanced advice, which is Venus. Maybe if you want to work on marketing and advertising, which is 3rd house, you can get some support there from others. Venus, you can even enjoy the whole process. You can connect more with people verbally. And when you communicate, you tend to communicate now in January in more diplomatic ways, in more charming ways. So that's why socially you can attract people more easily. Okay, and at the same time, Mars is going into your 2nd house, Libras. And Mars is going to be there till August 2016. It will be a huge thing. But I'm going to talk more in depth about the whole Mars thing and Mars retrograde. It will be, Mars usually passes through one house in 2 months, 2.5 months. But now it's going to be exception this year. So huge focus on financial matters starts from you from January, actually more towards February. You start feeling it. And you'll be, over the next 8 months after that, you'll be taking some very, again, you see how there is connection here to material things, because 2nd house is your resources, your money, your comforts in life, and what makes you feel comfortable and secure as well. And you'll be becoming very initiative in regards to such matters and putting a lot of efforts, because wherever Mars is, this is where we put a lot of energy in those matters, and we're asked to physically even exert ourselves. But by the end of the process, by August, and I'll talk about that more in depth in February video, you will really have a more stable material foundation. But be prepared for extra expenses as well. And I'll talk more in depth next month. So thank you very much, Libra. Subscribe to my channel. Happy New Year again. Yes, you can always contact me at astrolada.com, or one of the psychics or amazing astrologers that I work with who are there for you 24/7.